Well, hey y'all, good evening. We just want to start off just kind of saying how excited we are. And we decided to do this little teaser video just to give you a little more insight about us. We had such an overwhelming response. We were shocked, I think.
Lots of emails.
Yes.
And we're just lots of views on the first video that we put out, and just the enthusiasm that we're doing this was just overwhelming, and just brought such joy to our hearts that we just kind of, before we start all this, especially for the people that have no idea who we are, we just kind of want to give, kind of introduction of really who we are and how we met, and just a little bit about us.
So our story does look a little bit different than most people's story. First of all, I will say this before we get to the night we met. I was just at a place in my life where I was just believing for breakthrough. I was praying for breakthrough, and had been for a long time. And one thing that I've learned over the years is to stay ready. And one of my really good friends has taught me that, and mentors, that you've got to always be ready for something great. And I was just in a place where I was ready for this man. And the night we met was really by chance. And I was out with a girlfriend and just having a good time and dancing and just enjoying myself. And then across the room, I saw this guy. And
Well, and just kind of interject to kind of tell you, I was at a point in my life that I about decided that I really didn't want to be married. I didn't have any desire to, I guess, really enjoy my life with someone else. I was happy being single, as I guess you would say. I thought I would be back for forever, and I really was okay with that. And then the night that we met, I had a buddy that called me up during the day and said, "Hey, come play softball with us." And where I was going to play softball was about 2.5 hours from my ranch. And if you're not from Texas, that's just a hop, skip, and a jump, 2.5 hours, because
for us, for us Texans, for sure.
Driving an hour is
We're
really
just used to it.
Is really nothing. So he called me up. I went to play softball, and then after we played softball, he's like, let's go have a few drinks and go out. And I was like, yeah, sure.
So there he stood.
That'd be good.
His Tony Lama boots definitely are what caught my eye when I first saw him.
Which is another odd thing. is that we're in kind of a club. It's not a club that's, it's more, it was like
we're not even club people.
Yeah, we're not,
yeah,
not really go out kind of people, I guess.
So it really was a God thing.
Yeah,
that we met.
I was wearing my cowboy boots, but I wasn't wearing a cowboy hat because it wasn't really that kind of atmosphere.
Well, I'm glad he had those boots on because I knew I was in good company. So I saw him, he saw me, I think we looked at each other, and then I can't remember if you walked over, but you said yes. I walked over to you. So you took that step.
No, I did. Her and her girlfriend were out on the dance floor.
And I have really great dance moves.
And she was...
I'm totally kidding.
No,
he makes fun of my dancing.
No, I don't make fun.
Yes, you do.
It's one of the things that I like. It's unique, and it's cute. So she did catch my eye, and so
with those awesome moves I've got.
And I always say, this is what I always say: hope takes action. So I'm not going to hope. I'm not going to be hoping to meet somebody as gorgeous as this lady without taking some action. So I took some action, and went asked her if I could buy her a drink. And so that was really it.
We connected instantly, and it was like fireworks for sure.
It was.
It was definitely
we couldn't.
A moment.
What she's trying to say is we could keep our hands off each other.
We still talk about that night to this day,
Yeah.
and Yeah, it was great. It was awesome. At the end of the evening, I did have to ask him to show me his driver's license. I was concerned. I was thought, this dude looks so young.
Thought I was some young college
And he
kid.
was just so fun. I thought, oh my gosh, what if I have met some young person that's trying to trick me? Or he's like, here you go. So to make sure he was over 18.
And that is the
And
truth.
the age.
She asked for my driver's license.
I did.
I'm like, but I didn't get offended. I just gave it to her.
So we really did start with the whirlwind, and then we lived 3.5 hours apart. So we started talking on the phone a lot, and having a lot of really just in-depth. I think that's what was so good about our relationship is we were able to get to know each other so well, and we did have such a connection. We loved to talk. We still love to talk. People ask us all the time, how do you spend so much time together, work together, do life together constantly and not fight? We do fight, do not get me wrong, we do fight, but and still want to be around each other, but we just had so much to say. At least I have so much to say. You talk too, though. But one of the nights, actually, we were talking, and we're talking, and we're talking, and we're both just sharing stuff about our life and our past and things we've been through. And he's like, I'm gonna go get some coffee. And I looked at the clock, and it was 6 o'clock in the morning.
It was 6 a.m.
We had talked all night long.
Which, you know, we own a ranch, and it's a working ranch, and I lived on our ranch. And so generally I was up by 6 a.m., running to the coffee shop, get coffee. And so, yeah, that particular night I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna go to the coffee shop and get some coffee.
Which my cousin, I have this little sign by my coffee pot that says, all the coffee in Columbia won't make me a morning person. And that night, she happened to be at my house, and she goes, well, coffee may not make you a morning person, but love sure does. Because I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, even though I'd been up all night long. I was just smitten with this guy, for sure. And, you know, we just kept on, I think, with that romance. But it was a quick romance where we were actually on a trip. Was it 4 months later? About 4 months later. 3 months later. Yeah, 3 months later, we were on a trip together, and some friends of ours were celebrating their retirement from a career, and we were on a 9-day trip and a cruise, and we went parasailing, and while we were parasailing, Shay was like, I want to marry you, let's get married. And I think I said, are you sure? She's like, that's not the response I was looking for. But we got engaged that day, and then kept continuing with living apart. We still lived 3.5 hours away. So over those months, we refurbished the house. He was living in an old ranch house, a country house that we were redoing, planning a wedding. Him running his business, me running my business. It was just a crazy, crazy time. And you know, kind of in my past life, I had had a lot of life that had gone on and could have led me to be really broken and not be open for our relationship. But I really believe, because of the foundation that I had with knowing what my core values were and knowing what I was looking for, that I was ready to receive him. And I did already have 2 children that are absolutely incredible and amazing. And from day one, they just clicked with Shay. And I think one of the greatest things he did was, from the beginning, he took them in as his own, but he loved on them. And it was just all they knew from him was love and honesty and friendship, and he developed into that father role. But at first, it was just a man loving them and loving their mama, and that was a neat thing to see, because we don't really consider ourselves a blended family.
No, and let me just take you completely back. I was a single man, and I would say a happily single man. I was
He roped every day.
I was fine with the bachelor life. I really, in my mind, I really I didn't want to get married. I didn't want a long-term relationship.
You like to have fun.
I liked to have fun. Um, I liked my life. I guess you should
And
say.
you liked your independence too, I
Right.
think.
Yeah. Being
You like to be
independent.
in control.
It was definitely, everything was just kind of like a whirlwind, like Kimberly said, because when we met, I was actually um, planning on moving. I was actually moving to another town, and it was going to put us further away from each other, and further than 3.5 hours. And so I postponed that move to kind of see where this would go, and it
It went somewhere fast.
it caught like fire in Texas in July. It went fast, and so and like she said, when I met her, she had 2 kids, and I just never it never really crossed my mind that I love them just as I loved her, and I never really thought that they were, I guess, stepchildren. And we've never really took on, I guess, what society would say as I'm the stepdad and they're the stepchildren and we're a blended family, which, I mean, we understand we're a blended family, but we don't really think like that.
No.
And really, as we're making this video, our 2 younger children that we have currently, they have no idea.
They don't even know we're a blended family.
They don't even know we're a blended family.
But I think that you've done such a great job at it's always just been us, and you've been really great at that. There's no difference with any of the kids. But as we got engaged that January, and in June, we got to tell this fast because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
In June, I was going to the dentist and I was having a lot of dental work done, and they said, "Are you pregnant?" And I was like, "No." Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And I thought I better take a pregnancy test because some of the things they were needing to do. And so
let's clarify how this all, and see, her mom lived in a town 2 hours away, and we went and visited her mom, and actually there had been real bad storms, and so we'd actually stayed over for a weekday. I didn't have to work because it had been raining and storming, and so we didn't have anything to do out on the ranch. So I was actually at her mom's, just hanging out, and
I forgot that piece.
yeah, and she went and she was going to the dentist.
So I take this test. We're a couple weeks. We're about to get married, and oh my gosh, it's positive. So I sat down in my dentist's chair and I look at him and I'm like, "I'm pregnant." And he said, "Oh, well, do you need a minute?" I said, "Yeah, I better call my fiance. This is kind of big news." And so I called Shay from the dentist's office, and he started dying laughing. So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I don't know if this is good, bad, anywhere in between, but he was literally cracking up laughing. And then what I've found throughout the years, he laughs when he's excited about something or happy about something and nervous all at the same time. So he just couldn't stop
excited,
laughing.
happy, nervous.
And, then we were married a couple of weeks later. Then we had Maverick.
Which, hold on, I got to tell a funny story. This is hilarious. And so we tell the older kids that Kimberly was pregnant. And then we were actually, the same day, we were meeting Kimberly's dad for lunch. And so, so we made him for lunch. And so our daughter, when she's 7 at the time, she's like, she wants to tell her granddad that her mom is pregnant. And so we're like, well, let's just wait, let's sit down, let's have dinner. And so we're at dinner, and so finally we give her the nod that she can tell him, and she's like, "Granddad, Mom was pregnant." And his whole eyes got real big, and he's like, "I thought she went to the dentist."
So it's been a running joke that everyone was so confused how I got pregnant at the dentist's office. But, I think just in sharing that with you is I really believe we are very, very imperfect people that have figured out how to still make this work, and God has still worked through us this whole time that
Well,
we've been together.
Here's what we
And
believe, that God put us together.
I do.
Like he intervened, and he knew that
He knew what Walker and Waverly needed.
he knew that I needed this strong, independent, beautiful,
Bossy.
woman in my life to really complete me, and to really someone to hold me accountable, because there was really no one in my life to hold me accountable. I just really um, did what I want, and without any, no one to tell me, hey, that's right, that's wrong. And so Kimberly should definitely tell me that I'm not minding my P's and Q's.
Well,
And
I know, right after we met, we were having a long distance conversation at one point, and I asked him, I said, what are your core values? And he's like, well, what the heck is a core value?
Who are you?
He's like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
And I was just like, we got to be on the same page. We've got to have the same value system. And I want to do this right. And as I went through and talked to him about my core values, he's like, yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, we got the same. But that was really the first building block, I think, to us, our success, is you were always so open to my boldness, because I was really bold in what I wanted and what I was looking for in you, and you with me too.
Absolutely, and that's something that I always celebrate and could appreciate by Kimberly is she's not afraid, and I love that about her, that she's not afraid to say what's on her mind,
Like me or not, it's
or and I'm really kind of the same.
way.
I'm the same way, and so it's really been good, and I think our long distance really helped with our relationship, because we really had to communicate, which we're still going through that process.
Yes.
Working on being better communicators with each other, but I know and on these videos we're gonna dive into
all of that,
and the communication and everything, but
that's just the story of how we met and kind of how our family got started. And there's so much more, and we probably could really talk an hour to tell you how we've progressed to this point.
it's a lot. We've
had a lot of life.
Beforehand, we've had a lot of life, and as a couple, we have experienced a lot of life, and we feel, we've probably experienced a lot of life.
I think we're qualified and can help so many people because we have had so much life. And we have had to tackle so many different issues in our marriage, in our friendships, in relationships in general, that in hardships. And really this all came about through some hardships that we were going through. And we decided to write a book, and we wanted to share about the different breakthroughs that we had been having. And I know that we're just praying along this journey that we're able to do that. I do want to share one more thing, and then I know we need to end, but we did develop our family, and then a few years later, we've just always been pretty happy. And I was like, Shay, I really want another baby. And he wasn't real sure about that, and
wasn't sure.
He was a little resistant.
No, I fought tooth and nail. I mean, at first I was definitely no. We're already too busy. We have enough on our plate. It's too busy as it is. We don't need to add another little person into the mix.
And I begged and I begged and I begged, and he was no, and I was getting mad. I mean, I was madder than a wet hen. And he kept saying no, and I kept begging, and I kept doing other things that I thought might coerce him into it. Nothing was. And then one day he said, fine, let's have another baby. Well, I was on it. I'll tell you that. I was right on top of making sure that was going to happen and praying God would bless it. And the next thing I knew, I was telling him again that I was pregnant. And then that little baby came into the world, I'm telling you, changed our life. And he has been sunshine and joy And I tell Shay every day, you can just thank me for talking you into this, and then thank God that He blessed us.
And I do say,
answered.
thank you. Yes, I do.
Because he is a doll baby. But that's our Shug. His name is Memphis, but we call him Shug. And so that's just kind of how we had our kids. And we'll go into more depth, but just wanted to share a little bit about how it all began. Want to say anything else?
No, and I'm just so, and I just want everyone to know this is way out of my comfort zone, and that I'm stepping out because and here's my belief. I believe that I mean, if you don't know, we're believers, and which, you know, if you're not believing, I mean, we're not holding it against you. We just know that God's a big part of our life, and that God has called us to do more with our life. And, you know, if we have anything to give, that we should give it away. And so we're just excited about going through this journey with everyone that's going to be on it with us. And we're excited to share our lives with everyone. And we feel hopeful. We feel grateful, and we just appreciate all of you that are watching and cheering us on. And so
yes, thank you. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and if you're excited for our premiere Thursday, share us, please. Share our what is it called? Our YouTube channel, and get and ask your friends to subscribe. And we want to help as many people and affect as many people as we possibly can.
And we're sorry that this video is so long.
Oh my
it was
gosh.
Literally supposed to be 5 minutes, and here we are 20 minutes in.
Walker said he's not watching any video that's over 15 minutes,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll watch it or not. So
Well, we hope you do.
Yeah.
But anyways, everyone have a great week, and be watching the channel, and Thursday will be really our first video. All right.
Sounds good.
Have a good week.